Hi all. Our instructive game today will be showing the theme of pieces behind pawns, and to demonstrate this theme I'm going to choose one of the best game prizes of the British Championship. So each day there was this best game prize, and one of them was given to Michael Surtees for convincingly beating Jovanka Houska. So Jovanka Houska's rated 2405 and Michael Surtees 2182. Michael has this system of revolutionary opening theory where he gives the idea that perhaps pieces can be developed behind pawns, and a lot of his systems have this feature. And in certain of his systems I'm actually a lot more convinced, like this this kind of wing gambit system he plays in this game. So after e4, Jovanka playing c6, a seemingly rock solid defence. And Michael already plays a surprising move. He plays knight e2, and after d5 he plays e5. So let's keep a careful watch at the white pieces. They're all undeveloped at the moment, and pieces behind the pawns is being adhered to. This knight's behind this pawn. So he's keeping with his principles. And after c5 we see b4. So again, a pawn move, and it's the pieces behind the pawns which are very interesting. He establishes his pawn chain. It's difficult to undermine now because black has just taken on b4. So white has quite a strong pawn chain, and now it's like a kind of Benko gambit in reverse, or wing gambit. So after e6, a takes b4, bishop takes. White, gains a tempo for strengthening d4 even more. So bishop a5, and now he plays knight g3. Okay, one of the principles is temporarily broken here. This knight is in front of this pawn, fine, but all the other pieces are demonstrating something which Michael showed me at the end of the Congress. They're all on the first rank. So this is the zero development principle. The pieces have yet to fulfill their optimum placement. So if the pawns can be used first, then they can decide later where they're going to be developed. So knight ge7 and now knight h5. I know this is breaking a principle of moving this piece several times, but on the other hand, this is not the only developed piece. In fact, this bishop is quite well developed on this diagonal, and it hasn't moved. And this rook, it hasn't moved, and it's quite well developed. And this bishop is also quite good. So in a way, his principles are being demonstrated that sometimes even the pieces on their original squares can be good. It's really what you do with the pawns. So Jovanka, she castles, and now we see bishop g5. Okay, so it's a nice attacking move, and maybe black's king is already in trouble because what is this bishop doing on the queen side? This is going to be difficult to defend this king position here. Maybe black had too much faith in counter opportunities, but white's pawn chain in the centre is very strong here. She tries queen c7. And now, just to remove any potential, counterplay against this pawn chain, Michael first sacrifices the exchange. He plays rook takes a5. So now there's less pressure on his pawn chain. And after queen takes a5, now we see the start of the demolition job, as Andrew Martin would say. This is what he kind of titled this game of the day. Knight takes g7. So already we see here that this dark square bishop is going to be a menace on these dark squares. Black now has this isolated h-pawn. The queen, also has this very powerful idea of just coming into g4 or h5. So here, let's see, if black had taken this, what would happen? Bishop f6, king g8, and according to Ribka, this is not so dangerous at depth 11, but now at depth 12, massive advantage to white. Queen g4, knight g6. And now, the move queen h5. So simply, with the idea of queen h6. And there's hardly any defence here. Say queen a2, just attacking that. Then bishop d3. And now the queen h6 is really unstoppable. So this sacrifice is actually sound, believe it or not. Knight takes g7, so it can't be taken. So, Jovanka tries f5, and now knight h5. So the knight's going to swim back, perhaps to f6. So knight f6, King H8 was played, and now the second part of the demolition job. Knight takes H7. So the Queen and Bishop are very powerful here. They're working very well together. Let's see, if King takes here, Queen H5, King G7. So the Queen check here, King F7. Now Queen H7. So if King E8, Queen takes G6, Rook F7. And now here there's a very strong move according to Rivka. Bishop E2 with the idea of Bishop H5. So say Knight E2. But so is Bishop H5 the best here? No, because the Queen's attacked. So Bishop takes E7 first, King takes, and now Bishop H5. And say Rook F8, then Queen G7. So this is winning. King D8, Queen takes F7. So this Bishop E2 to H5 is very dangerous. So in this position, after Knight takes Queen C7 was played, and now Knight takes F8. Knight takes F8. Bishop F6 check. King G8. Now Bishop D3 would be good, but this diagonal, why not blast it open first? So he plays G4. So you see that these pieces are just, waiting to spring on the opponent's king. After F4, Bishop D3. Now finally, the bishop is developed. And why not? G5 is going to be really crushing now. So G5, B4. It's a bit slow, this queenside counterplay. Queen H5. And after Knight E7, G6. And this is a forced mate, according to Rivka, a forced mate in 7. So, what can we say about Michael Surtees? He's a very, very creative player. He's got this very, very creative opening theory. You look at all of his games, and he's trying to keep his pieces behind his pawns. And he also has this idea of zero development. I'm going to put his website link in the comments of this video. But first, let's just do a quick overview and summary. So this was a real demolition job of Jovanka Houska, winning one of the best game prizes. So he got £100 for this game on one of the days. So Bishop G5 here. So the Knight and Bishop are working together. But first, this lovely exchange sacrifice to stop any counterplay against his pawn chain. Now Knight takes G7. So this whole Knight E2 to G3 was very aggressive stuff, very nice logical thematic stuff in its own way. So Knight F6. Now Knight takes H7, so the demolition job continuing. Now Knight takes F8, and White's bishops now are starting to be used after this G4. So the white square bishop is finally coming in. And look at Black's pieces on the queen side. This really was a disaster in the opening. This queen side counterplay really far too slow. So after G6, that's it. Let's see what could have happened. So Knight Fg6, Bishop takes, Knight takes, just Rook G1. So the Rook would finally be developed very, very effectively. So Rook takes G6. And according to Rivka, it's a forced mate in 4. Some desperate computer moves are given. Let's just see this ridiculous move. So just mating next move. So anyway, a fascinating game, I'm sure you'll agree, and one which shows that you can sometimes play these novel opening systems, keeping pieces behind pawns with very good results. Please leave any comments on YouTube. Thanks very much.